Hello and welcome to day 25, session 2 of the 365-day meditation challenge. I just talked for 27 minutes as an intro to this meditation challenge, this session, and I deleted it, even though I was very proud of what I spoke about how I was more honest with the people around me because in the past, whenever I noticed a pattern in their behavior, I wouldn't point it out. Now, in the last 2 weeks or so, I started to point it out. I'm like, look, this is a pattern that you are repeating and it's affecting you negatively. And people are, mm, to say the least, there are a lot of mixed feelings. Sometimes they're happy and it helps them, and sometimes they refuse to acknowledge the pattern even though it's apparent. So, yeah, I think it saves a lot of time. And I think if I notice something in someone and I know it to be a repeating pattern, I should tell them. Like, that's exactly what I believe that makes me more honest now. And in this meditation challenge, I'm doing 31 minutes, 2 sessions every day for a year. And I'm going to start the meditation now. And there you go. The meditation is over. Yeah, I had a huge epiphany. Well, yeah, I really had this big realization about myself in this meditation. Even though you're supposed to not think when you're meditating, to leave the thinking out there and just let it pass. This was too interesting to not give it a few seconds. I am far more of a loser than I am a winner. If you count the losses that I have and the things that I'm doing, I fail more than I achieve the things that I set out to do. But that is the whole deal. If you count my losses, you don't see the bigger picture because the wins far outweigh the losses, far outweigh the things that and it's not about gambling. I'm not losing anything per se. I'm just failing. So failing to do a certain thing to achieve a certain result. So yeah, and I did have a big, big discussion with someone about this because this person was counting, like, I think 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago. They were counting my losses and they were comparing themselves to me, like, look, I don't have this many losses. And I was like, yeah, but you also don't have these many wins. You far you have far worse outcomes on the grander scale than I have because you're not taking as many chances and you are not failing as often as I do to make a lot more progress because I don't see failure as a bad thing. I see it as an opportunity to understand something about that certain subject, either to understand if it's a number game. If it's a number game, I just play it and say, okay, in 10% of these situations, I get this outcome. So I have to do 10 to get one outcome. How many outcomes do I want? Five. I have to do 50. So you understand, if it's a numbers game, then I'm doing a numbers game. If it's a skill game, then I understand that it's a skill game. Okay, I did something different here that led me closer to my outcome. I'm going to change that. So you only see this if you do a lot of repetitions. That's why I build my whole life about repetitions, about doing over and over and over again the same things. Not in the same way, it's the same activity, speaking in front of the camera. I figured out that I had the biggest bottleneck in my process of creating either courses, videos, anything that has to do with video was editing. So I perfected editing. And then I was like, perfected. Whatever. I became faster and faster and faster. And then I was like, this still takes me too long and I don't enjoy it. So then I was like, okay, why am I editing so much? It's because I'm repeating myself too often and I have breaks. I stumble my words. So if you look back, there have been so little videos in which I stumble my words that it's funny. It's become a running joke, I think, with myself to see how much bullshit I can get out there without ever fumbling my words. I'm just laughing right now. So I figured out I need to get better at speaking in front of the camera. How do I get better at speaking in front of the camera? I have to do it a lot without a script, over and over and over again. Of course, you can have pointers, you can have things that help you, that really boost your ability. But there is a big but. I've learned this from video games, and I've said it a few times on the channel as well. It's like this. In video games, the best people who can optimize for a certain outcome are the people who grind the most, the farmers, the people who farm, because they understand that even if they have not optimized the perfect way to farm a certain outcome, they will, after a few days, they will get to a better outcome. They will get to a better way. They will shave off seconds, milliseconds, every time, every time, every time. And they will understand, oh, where am I wasting time? Am I wasting time by spawning here? Should I spawn there? And they start to try it, but after a few days, after they understand the limitations, if you're doing a thing over and over again, the limitations become so apparent that you are unable to not see them. So that's exactly why I fail so much, because I am, from the outside, it seems as if I'm failing because I'm not getting that perfect outcome, or I'm people consider that if I'm not getting the outcome that I set out to do, it means that I'm failing. Instead, I view it as this is a stepping stone for optimizing for that outcome. I'm trying to find the recipe. And I truly hate when people say there are no recipes for success. What? Are you stupid? There are so many recipes for success. You but the things that people want are not recipes for success. When they say there are no recipes for success, what they actually say, all the recipes that are out there are not success. They don't give me what I want, which is disproportional outcomes. It's nice to have disproportional outcomes, but usually to have disproportional outcomes, you have to fit in a different ingredient, which is luck. If you fit in luck and you put in the recipe, that's why people say there are no recipes for success, because they put in this ingredient called luck. And it's circumstantial. That's why they think there are no recipes for success, because you cannot replicate the luck aspect of that recipe. But if you take away the luck and you strip down and you find a recipe for success, there are so many recipes for success. So many recipes for success. It's This world is built on recipes for success. How do we define success? Do we define success? You want to build an outcome. Build. Let's build a house. How do you build a house? There are so many recipes out there to build a house. What kind of materials do you want? So many recipes, whatever you want. But when we talk about success, there are no recipes. What? No, there are so many recipes for success. It's like a house, it's like whatever you want to do. It's like talking about the painting and saying that no, there are no recipes for a good painting. I'm like, what are you talking about? All good paintings are recipes. And then people they go like, no, but the best paintings are the ones you cannot replicate. Well, you cannot replicate just because you don't have the necessary ingredients for that recipe, one of them being experience. So it's not that there aren't any recipes for success. There are so many recipes for success, but you have to take out the ingredient called circumstance and the ingredient called luck. If you take those out and you get the bare bones recipe for success, and the best people who teach you recipes for success are those that get that out and point out to you, look, if you think this is about luck, it's not. It's about this, 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 and this. And if they tell you that, oh, it's a secret formula, no. Usually, recipes for success, you can look from the outside, look at the system, look at what other people are doing, and replicate. Most of the things, most of the success that people have has such a low barrier of entry that you can just go and do it. But most people don't. So that's why they believe that when people tell them there are no recipes for success. There are so many recipes for success. I'm I've all of my success in my life has been because of recipes that I've got from someone else. I didn't invent anything. You don't have to invent your own recipe for success. Just do your thing. Yeah, sure. If you want to do something else, you feel like you don't want to do the normal YouTuber stuff and do the normal YouTube ways of doing things, just do it that way, the way I'm doing it right now. But understand that when you are not applying the recipe, you will not get the success. It's not guaranteed that you are getting the success because you are forging a new path that a lot of other people might have already done. Because that's the point. We tend to think that an idea is valuable just because we don't see it out there. But we don't see it out there just because a lot of people, it might be because a lot of people have tried it and failed and it didn't work. So that's why we don't see it out there, because the world is telling us, like, look. So it's easier to just be like, okay, what am I seeing? What can I infer from this? And then do that, and then later on improve on the recipe. Just take away or add something else to make it your own. Most people think that you have to be 100% original in your ideas. If you're not, you're just a copy of this person. No, usually most people cannot replicate and copy someone else. Their being does not let them do it to the fullest extent. It's, yeah, we call them dollar store versions of that. But it might be just because their whole entire person does not let them do and copy that. So yeah, thank you for watching and see you in the next one.